Hi everyone, Medina here. Hope you're all doing well out there. I have been asked by a viewer to do some more information about different countries on the scale of consciousness. And so I've done an analysis using my own technique where I go in and I find my own answers for what I think is the correct result. And, everyone has different ways of working with the scale of consciousness. I'm going to put a diagram here for you to see the scale of consciousness. And everyone has their own way of working with it, but I have my own ways as well, using a pendulum and so forth. So I find that these results are really, really accurate. They're very interesting. So when I previously did a video on the scale of consciousness, I tried to get the result for Australia. And it was really fascinating what I got. And again, my results to me feel very in alignment. They resonate. So everyone will have their own interpretation. And of course, when I'm giving information like this, you go into your own discernment and see if this resonates as a truth for you. However, these are just the results that I found. So for Australia, I found that when I first looked at Australia quite a few months ago, it was in fear, which is 100. And then it was approximately 2 months later, which was about when I did the last video on this, about 5 weeks ago. And I checked in and Australia was at anger, 150. So as you can see, the country as a collective consciousness is climbing up the consciousness scale. And when I checked today, again, they'd gone up a little bit more again to pride, which was 175. So they are climbing the scale of consciousness, which is an obvious indicator that the consciousness is rising, which is great. So Australia, when I checked it today, was pride 175. Now, I haven't checked these other countries before in a video, but I had a request to check Canada. So when I went in and checked on Canada, it came up as 310 willingness, which is interesting because when you think about the whole freedom convoy movement, the trucker movement, that really was a leading movement in the world for this truth freedom movement. And so it was sort of instigated, or the birthplace for that was in Canada, which inspired a lot of other places around the world, such as they were remarking in the Netherlands, with the farmers in their tractors at the moment that are standing up to the government. They said that they were inspired by the Canadian convoy, trucker movement. So when I checked in on Canada, it was 310 willingness, which is very interesting considering they were at the inception of this whole making a stand, protest type movement for the freedom movement. Then I went in and I checked Germany. I did have a request from a viewer to check on Germany as well. And so when I checked in on Germany, it came out as 150, which was anger. I think there's still a lot, obviously, of resolution to occur in that country due to, the history and everything. So 150 was where they came up at the moment. And when I went into Italy, as we know, there's a lot of dissension with the Italian Prime Minister at the moment, and it's looking like he may be ousted too. So when I looked at Italy, it came up as 175 Pride, which was another very interesting number. So Pride 175. And the other thing that I thought was interesting was I just did a personal evaluation of some people I know that have had this in their arm. And they used to, when I went in to check, they used to be a bit higher, and then they were fluctuating between two of the lower levels. A few people that I checked were fluctuating from the level they used to be at to going down two more. So fluctuating, going downward since they've had this. So this was indicating to me that their consciousness is dropping through this, and that they are shifting sort of down the scale of consciousness a bit, because they were fluctuating from where they were previously, going down two levels. This was a few people that I checked on. So I think that's very interesting, and that really also aligns with a lot of the information that we know on the experimental, procedure that it is, that it disconnects us from our divine connection, and also disconnects us from our humanity in a more transhuman, AI type energy. So that does align with that information. And of course, when I do this analysis, I'm not having any attachment to a result, so I just do it without thinking, with non-attachment. And so I just evaluate and then just write the answer down. So I didn't have any preconceived expectation with the results. This is just what I got straight off. And that to me helps me to know that it is a non-biased and objective result. So that was very interesting. The scale of consciousness is a great way to evaluate where you are, and so that you know what you're working with and what you're heading towards in terms of what you're working with, how to move forward in your soul evolution. If you'd like to have a session with me and work on evaluating your scale of consciousness and how to move forward in terms of your soul growth, soul evolution, you can work with me, and I can give you specific tools and techniques and do some energetic healing work to help you in this expansion of your soul evolution through the scale of consciousness, as indicated by the scale of consciousness. And often, when I work with people, they do go up. You can see them going up the scale of consciousness as I do the work. Well, pretty much always, but so that is a great way to, in a way, measure your own growth, and it's a bit more tangible, I guess, than just sort of doing it without knowing where you are. So if that resonates with you, please contact me. And I'd also like to share that for the people joining my Patreon in July and August, I have a free giveaway, which is the book here, which I'm going to share on the screen, called Alien Races by Elena Tanan. Brand new book, which is very interesting. It has information about all the different alien races and diagrams and information about them. So if that resonates with anyone, you can join at the basic level in my Patreon community for $3, and you can win this book over July and August. So thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.